Ice hockey officially returned to Oklahoma City after a 30-year layoff when the Boston Bruins announced in May of 1965 that their Central Hockey League farm team would operate in Oklahoma City during the 1965-66 season. The decision was to be a wise one for Boston, for Oklahoma City took to the Blazers immediately. After a training camp record of 4 wins, 3 losses, and a tie, Oklahoma City debuted at the new Fairgrounds Arena October 23, 1965, before 7,107 fans. And the voice of the Blazers described the beginning.
Tonight, the world's fastest sport, ice hockey, returns to Oklahoma City after an absence of nearly 30 years. It was February of 1936 when the old Oklahoma City Warriors pulled up stake and shifted their franchise to Minneapolis to close out the season. Now that cycle has been completed.
The Houston Apollos were the opening night opponent, and although the Oklahoma City crowd was generally uninformed to the rules of the game, they warmed to it quickly. This was how the first moment of the Blazers' history sounded.
Referee Tom Smith gives the sign to both goalies, checks with the official score. The opening face-off. Ice hockey is returned. The puck goes to Oklahoma City.
A 2-goal first period gave the Apollos a 2-0 lead before the Blazers opened up in the second period. Few fans probably remember who scored the first Blazers goal ever. That first score came shortly after the 6-minute mark and ignited a Blazers rally.
Coming up ice is Ted Irvine across his own blue line. The red line, he's still got the puck, passes off to Skip Krake. Krake comes back for it. A pass in to Panagabko. He shoots. He got it! Needless to say, the Blazers have racked up their first goal of the 65-66 season, and I'm sure that an assist will go to Irvine on that and to Skip Krake. As Irvine brought the puck all the way up ice, Pete Panagabko got the goal from about 10 feet in front of the goal.
Only minutes after Captain Pete Panagabko's score, Houston defenseman Noel Picard was whistled for a 2-minute elbowing penalty, and the Blazers used the man advantage well.
Sinden passing across to Buchanan. Buchanan with the puck, skating by one man. Buchanan taking a shot. He's got it! We'll recap that one for you. That brought the fans to their feet. It's 2-2. The Blazers have tied it up. And Ronnie Buchanan, a freshman out of Oshawa, the Canadian Junior League last year, with the power play on, he went all the way himself, got the breakaway as he took the puck at center ice on the far side, and skated by 2 men, skated in and got his shot off from the left at about 15 feet away, and he got it by Carl Wetzel, and that's the second goal scored against Wetzel this year. And the Blazers have come back to tie it up.
Rookie Bucky Buchanan had scored the first of 97 goals he would put in the net in a 3-season performance in an Oklahoma City uniform. The tying goal hypoed the Blazers toward their first lead ever.
And up ice come the Blazers. Cross ice pass to Irvine by Panagabko. Over to Panagabko on the near side. He passes back to Irvine. Irvine has it in the corner, but the puck is taken away by Piper, controlled by the Apollos behind the net, and they come out now on the breakaway with Tafo passing up ice to Patterson. Over in the corner, Patterson back out to Gauthier, and the Apollos will set it up. Gauthier is checked nicely by Panagabko to Krake. Krake one-on-one across to Irvine to Panagabko. He shoots. He scores! I don't need to tell you that when the Blazers score, you're going to hear about it. 3-2, Oklahoma City goes out in front, and they've done it in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes ago, they were behind 2-0. They now lead 3-2. Panagabko has his second goal of the night.
Despite that crowd-pleasing comeback in under a 5-minute span, Houston rallied to win the game 4-3. The Blazers had to wait 1 week before getting their first win of the season in the second game on the schedule. After beating Memphis and tying St. Louis to even their record at 1-1-1, Goaltender Bernie Parent was called up to the Boston Bruins of the National Hockey League. The loss of Parent was expected to be a blow, and in the first game after his departure, another rookie named Doug Favell was bombed as St. Louis beat the Blazers 10-0 in their first road game. Favell would atone for that humiliation in future months and years, but for the time being, the Blazers under coach Harry Sinden had trouble untracking. Improvement came slow. On December 15th, Oklahoma City was in the cellar with 7 wins, 10 losses, and 3 ties. Then a fellow named Gerry Cheevers came to town. The flashy goalie was sent down from Boston, and his arrival coincided a move to the First Division. On Christmas night at home, the Blazers reached the 500 mark for the first time since the third game. 5 days later, they had moved into a second-place tie with their 11-10-4 record, and by January 3rd, 1966, had put together a streak of 8 games in a row without a loss. The surge continued, and by January 23rd, the Blazers had reached the top, tying St. Louis for the lead. By now, Oklahoma City had warmed to their own pro hockey team, and the Blazers were headed for a still existing Central Hockey League record of paid attendance of 173,096. On February 3rd, a 4-1 win over Memphis moved the Blazers into sole possession of first place. Coach Harry Sinden, destined to be a world champion coach before his career in hockey ended, did an outstanding job all season. And although the Blazers did not win the regular season crown, they managed second place, clinching the runner-up position in a 2-2 tie at Houston April 2nd. The stage was set for Oklahoma City's first Central Hockey League playoff appearance. The runner-up Blazers met St. Louis, which had finished 4th. Champion Minnesota faced third-place Tulsa in the other semifinal. The Blazers were stunned by the Braves in the opening game, dropping a 3-2 decision at home, but evened the series 2 nights later with a 4-1 win. Then the series moved to St. Louis for 2 games, and it was on the Braves' eyes that Oklahoma City established the momentum that would carry the team to a title. Sinden's low-scoring, defense-minded team opened up for a 7-4 decision in the third game, and then used that good defense and goaltending to spark a 2-1 victory in the fourth contest. The Blazers returned home and wrapped up the semifinals with a 3-1 decision. A dream final was created a few days later when Tulsa upset regular season champion Minnesota in 7 games. But nothing was to stop the Blazers. 5-1 and 5-2 wins at home and a 4-2 victory at Tulsa gave the Blazers a 3-0 series lead as the fourth game faced off in Tulsa's Assembly Center April 20th. Goalie Gerry Cheevers' outstanding play around the net and Oklahoma City's strong defense helped keep the game scoreless for almost half of the opening period. The Blazers were forced to play 2 men short at one time, but killed off the penalties. Having warded off trouble for nearly 10 minutes, Oklahoma City finally got the offense going.
Buchanan trying to get the puck out of his own ice in the near circle. Check from behind by McDonald. Cheevers scoots out of the net to slap it away. Out to Sather. Blazers finally get it out along the left flank. Sather ahead to Bradley. Puck lost to Benarusso. Back. Intercepted by Dallas Smith along the boards to Sather. Back in Tulsa ice. Picked up by DuPont. DuPont's pass stolen out front by Bradley. Man on the left to Sather. Coming in. Behind the man. Shoots. Scores. Bradley scores to put Oklahoma City on top 1-0 with 9 minutes and 49 seconds gone in the first period. And you can tell by the crowd that there's a goodly number of Blazer fans over here tonight all over the place.
Bradley's 6th goal of the playoffs on a backhand shot equaled the hustling rookie's number of goals that he had scored in the entire regular season. He had been Oklahoma City's surprise for the playoffs. When the Blazers got a man advantage about 5 minutes later, the Cityans had a chance to put Tulsa in deep trouble, but the opportunity backfired.
No icing, of course, as Tulsa is down a man, and a puck comes all the way to the south goal, far in. Picked up by Watson, skated around to the near side. With it for Oklahoma City, pulls up now with 55 seconds left in the penalty box for Dunville of Tulsa. Breakout, puck knocked down, Ward steals it, he shoots and scores! A fantastic play by Ron Ward of Tulsa, who literally knocked Joe Watson to the ice, stole the puck. Cheevers started to come out, and Ward shoots it into an open net.
The goal was Ward's first in the playoffs, and the game remained tied 1-1 until the final 30 seconds of the period, when defenseman Mark Rayome's first score of the playoffs made it 2-1 Tulsa after a period of play. The Tulsa lead barely lasted the intermission break, for the Blazers tied the score less than a minute into the second period.
Joyal and Chris will face off to the left of Al Miller. South end, puck in the circle. Knocked away, puck comes in the corner. Crisp will get it for the Blazers, drops it off the boards, right underneath, trying to pass in the slot. DuPont comes in, knocks the stick out of Wright's hand, comes up with the puck. Breaks it out for Tulsa. Bounce pass off the boards too far. Top to the midline by Joey Watson. On the boards to Parise, who's rammed into the woods by DuPont, but Chris picks up the loose puck, comes down behind a man, puts a shot on the screen, it's in! Terry Chris gets his first goal in the playoffs.
Despite the score 36 seconds after the face-off, the battle developed into a tight checking contest with both teams playing cautious hockey waiting for a break. The advantage occurred 7 minutes deep as another Blazer steal resulted in the go-ahead tally.
Davison comes back in the corner. Bounce pass behind the cage. Far side, Oklahoma City ice to Watson. Back around to Davison. Got too far. Comes up along the boards. Bradley trying to get it up, but the puck comes back to the midline. Ringholm has to skid all the way back. Buchanan steals it. Shoots. He scores. Buchanan puts Oklahoma City on top. 3-2 as he stole the puck from Mark Ringholm. Drove in from right to left and put the puck by Al Miller's right hand. And the Blazers take the lead at 3-2. With 7 minutes and 4 seconds gone.
Now fighting to prevent a 4-game sweep, the Oilers fought back shortly to knot the score. While Pete Panagabko was serving a penalty for Oklahoma City, Tulsa's Eddie Joyal evened the count at 3-3. But Skip Krake put the Blazers in front to stay a few minutes later, and Oklahoma City's 4th goal of the period off Al Miller produced the faint smell of a championship.
5.5 minutes to play, second period. Blazers on top 4-3 as Buchanan brings it up the middle. Center ice still going. Across the blue by a man who come in and scores. Bucky Buchanan makes a beautiful play as he gets by Ray DuPont, the Oiler defenseman, and goes all the way in for the score from the Tulsa blue line. And hold on, we may have a victory celebration coming up tonight.
A disputed Tulsa goal by Terry Clancy 2.5 minutes from the conclusion of the period pulled Tulsa back within 1 as Oklahoma City owned a 5-4 lead at the second period intermission. Oiler fans did not know, though, that they had had their last cheer. This was to be one of the Blazers' finest hours. Less than 5 minutes into the final period, Keith Wright scored his first playoff goal.
Power play on behind the cage, pass way out high. Krake keeps it inside the blue nicely. Pass on the left to Dallas Smith into the near circle. Parise with it, power play on. Buchanan in the slot. Parise coming in on the angle. He shoots. Wright scores. Wright puts Oklahoma City on top 6-4 as J.P. Parise rifled a shot to Keith Wright. And Keith gets his first goal of the playoffs. And what a key one it is. 6-4 Oklahoma City by 2 goals. The score comes at 4:34 on the power play goal.
Just past the halfway point, Wright scored again to virtually clinch the championship. With a 7-4 lead and moments from an 8th straight playoff win, future National Hockey League star J.P. Parise got a goal and established a team scoring record at the time for most goals in a game. Oklahoma City, a team that had scored fewer goals than they had given up in the regular season, had conquered the best the Central Hockey League could offer. From last place in mid-December to a second-place league finish to the playoff championship in the Adams Cup, the Blazers had made Oklahoma City's first year one never to forget. This is how those closing seconds sounded.
Puck in Tulsa ice, Jim Wilcox across 2 Blues to Ward. Ward loses the puck and a scramble for it. 15, 14, 13. Krake with it. Oklahoma City, 11, 10, 9. Into Irvine. He goes in, shoots, misses the net. It bounced back, almost juggled in. 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's all over. The Blazers are Central Hockey League playoff champions for 1965-66 with a rout of Tulsa 4-0 as they win the 4th game 8-4.
The year had been a successful one on and off the ice. The championship with a team that on paper wasn't as good as at least a couple of other clubs in the league was a credit to Coach Harry Sinden, and he was elevated to the Boston Bruins head coaching job. On May 10, 1966, less than a month after he had played on the first championship team, defenseman Murray Davison was named player coach. At 28, he was the youngest coach in pro hockey. The Blazers opened the 1966-67 season on October 15th with a 3-2 win at Memphis. Despite Gerry Cheevers' call-up on November 7th, the Blazers stayed at or near the top, and on November 11th, with Doug Favell in the nets, tied for the lead. They were never out of first again. A week after hitting the top, the Blazers lost talented Bill Goldsworthy, who was suspended by Davison and shipped to Buffalo. But rookies Ross Lonsberry and Ted Hodgson joined the team. The Blazers rolled on, with Cheevers returning to share duty with Favell, and despite a shaky last month, clinched the regular season title with a 4-2 win over Tulsa on March 26th. Oklahoma City was ready for its second playoff championship bid. Houston was the semifinal opponent, and the Apollos provided more than enough opposition. Oklahoma City won the opener at home 5-1. The second game at the Fairgrounds Arena produced another first in Blazers history. Neither team scored for 2 periods. Third period goals by Hodgson and Houston's Mickey Redmond created the first overtime game for the Blazers. Houston came close to ending the sudden death session almost before it started. Only 2 great saves by Cheevers at 7 seconds just after the opening faceoff and at 50 seconds kept the Blazers' chances for a win alive. Oklahoma City began gaining the momentum at about 5 minutes of the period, and 2 minutes later really applied the pressure. After a spirited shift by Terry Crisp, Wayne Cashman, and Ted Irvine over 7.5 minutes into the overtime, Davison made a line change for a face-off in the Houston zone. Here's what happened to produce an historic goal.
So Sather, Lonsberry, and Hodgson are on with Gerry and Davison for the Blazers, and Inglis will be facing with Sather in the far circle, and Houston ice to the left of Desjardins. Score tied 1-1. And Bob Sloan will drop the puck. And Hodgson and Grant got in the circle too soon. Now it's down on the ice. Sather up with it, flips it. Oh, just missed the corner. Sather stuffing out front. Shot his hand. Blazers win! And 56 seconds of the overtime period. I think it was Ross Lonsberry. The Apollos are arguing that the puck was kicked into the net. Desjardins rushed out at Bob Sloan, arguing that the puck had been kicked in. Savard argued with him, but it's over. It was ruled that it was knocked into the net. Lonsberry got the winner at 7:56 of the overtime.
Later, some of the Blazers admitted the goal had been kicked into the net. Fired by the loss, the Apollos took 2 straight at home, but the Blazers rallied from an early 3-0 deficit to win the 5th game at the Fairgrounds and owned a 3-2 advantage in the best-of-7 series as they met the Apollos in Houston on April 11th. The Blazers scored in the first minute of the game on a Wayne Cashman goal, got 2 scores from Glen Sather in the second period, but needed another goal by Cashman and one by Ross Lonsberry 2 minutes apart in the third period to break a tie. Trailing 5-3, Houston scored with 33 seconds remaining to cut the deficit to a single goal, and Oklahoma City had to withstand this furious barrage at the buzzer to earn a berth in the finals.
There's 19 seconds left in the game, and the Apollos are going to get a face-off where they want it. Smith to drop the puck, and McMahon got in too soon behind him. Behind Smith is McCray. The puck is in the corner. After it is Buchanan along the near side. Puck centered right out front. It's bounding around. McMahon out to Lemaire. He shoots. It didn't go in. It was behind the cage. In the corner. 6 seconds to go. 5 seconds, and the clock is stopped. The puck hit the corner of the net. It almost got by the right goalpost. Hit the corner of the net. Hit the corner and sprayed away. 5 seconds to go. Hold on. Smith will drop the puck. Crispy trying to win the corner. It's down. It's out front. The shot is knocked over the cage. Red clock. It's over. It's all over. 5-4 as Redmond shot. And down in the cage is Gerry Cheevers, who got caught at the buzzer. Now let's see if he's up and okay. He is. It's all over. 5-4, the final. The Blazers win the semifinal round as Redmond, with a shot at the end, just missed.
Cheevers had earned his reputation as a money player. He made 46 saves that night as the Blazers won despite being outshot 50-23. The celebration on the homeward bound trip from Houston nearly turned into tragedy. The Blazers charter airliner encountered stormy weather en route home and had some close calls before finally having to land in Tulsa. The 1967 playoffs were to be clouded with a tragic moment, though, before they were over. Omaha was Oklahoma City's opponent for the best-of-7 finals, and even though Oklahoma City had earned the right to play the first 2 games at home, an ice availability conflict for Omaha allowed the Knights the opening 2 games at the Axarben Coliseum. The Blazers would have the final 5 games at home, but if Omaha could take the first 2, they would gain a decided advantage. The Blazers appeared they had lost the opener, but Bucky Buchanan scored the first Blazers goal ever with their goaltender pulled and tied the game 2-2 with only 12 seconds remaining in regulation play. J.P. Parise won it for Oklahoma City only 1:38 into overtime with a backhand shot 15 feet from in front of the goal. The next night, the Blazers forced the Knights into sudden death again, but Omaha gained the overtime decision 4-3. The series now moved to Oklahoma City even at 1-1. The Blazers returned home immediately. Omaha waited a day before traveling south. Out for a Sunday drive, Omaha's Larry Mickey had an automobile accident. His wife was killed and he was injured. The series would continue, but Omaha obviously felt the blow. Actually, it may have given the Knights an even greater desire. The games were as fine as a hockey fan would want to see. The Blazers won the 3rd game 5-3 with an open net goal included. Jean Pronovost scored twice for the Cityans. Oklahoma City took the 4th game 1-0 as Buchanan scored the only goal and Cheevers made 25 stops in posting the shutout.